Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Śrīla Prabhupada's books. Right here in the live studios in Hive, Kent. Winter is coming on, going deeper into it. There's all kinds of fear in the hearts of the people due to this great upsurge in the coronavirus. Holidays are upon us, and there's no relief. There's no relief. Except if our consciousness changes, there's no relief. And the consciousness doesn't change temporarily by having fun or getting presents or hugging loved ones, which is what people thinking they need now. But it changes when we associate with saintly persons, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna. And so we've dedicated our lives to reading these pastimes every day to whoever will listen. And for that reason, I'm grateful for all of you who come to listen every day. You're rare souls. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura, in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, had this to say about Caitanya-caritämrta. In due course, Mahapralaya, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam. But under no circumstances may you release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage. Because after the flood has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. All right. We've reached one of the most poignant and emotional chapters in the Caitanya-caritämrta. It's chapter 3 of the Antya-līlā, the Glories of Śrīla Haridāsa Ṭhākura. A summary of the third chapter is given by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur as follows. A beautiful young Brahmana girl in Jagannath Puri had a very handsome son who was coming every day to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was not very much to the liking of Damodar Pandit, however, who therefore told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "If you display so much love for this boy, people will doubt your character." Hearing these words from Damodar Pandit, the Lord sent him to Navadvip to supervise the affairs of his mother, Shachi Devi. He also especially requested Damodar Pandit to remind his mother that he was sometimes going to her home to accept the food she offered. Thus, following the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Damodar Pandit went to Navadvip, taking with him all kinds of prasadam from Lord Jagannath. On another occasion, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once inquired from Haridāsa Ṭhākura, who was known as Brahma Haridāsa, how the Yavanas, or persons bereft of Vedic culture, would be delivered in Kali Yuga. Haridāsa Ṭhākura replied that their deliverance would be possible if they very loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra. For hearing the Hare Krishna mantra chanted loudly, even with but little realization, would help them. After describing this incident, the author of the Caitanya-caritāmrta also describes how Haridāsa Ṭhākura was tested at Benapur, a village near Shantipur. A person named Ramachandra Khan, who was envious of Haridāsa Ṭhākura, sent a professional prostitute to attempt to defame him. But by the mercy of Haridāsa Ṭhākura, even the prostitute was delivered. Because of offending a pure Vaishnava, Ramachandra Khan was later cursed by Nityananda Prabhu and ruined. From Benapur, Haridāsa Ṭhākura went to the village known as Chandapur, where he lived at the house of Balaram Acharya. Thereafter, Haridāsa Ṭhākura was received by two brothers known as Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar. But in the course of a discussion, he was offended by a caste Brahmana known as Gopala Chakravarti. Because of this offense, Gopal Chakravarti was punished by being afflicted with leprosy. Haridāsa Ṭhākura later left Chandapur and went to the house of Advaita Acharya, where he was tested by Maya Devi, the personification of the external energy. She also received his favor by being blessed with the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Text 1. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavang Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and of all the other preceptors on the path of devotional service, unto all the Vaishnavas, and unto the 6 Goswamis, including Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and their associates. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as well as all his devotees, headed by Srivas Ṭhākura. I then offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani and all the gopis, headed by Lalita and Vishakha. Text 2. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Jagannath Puri, there was a young boy who had been born of an Orissa Brahmana, but had later lost his father. The boy's features were very beautiful, and his behavior was extremely gentle. 4 and 5. The boy came daily to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and offered him respectful obeisances. He was free to talk with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because the Lord was his life and soul. But the boy's intimacy with the Lord and the Lord's mercy toward him were intolerable for Damodar Pandit. 6. Damodar Pandit again and again forbade the son of the Brahmana to visit the Lord, but the boy could not bear staying home and not seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 7. The boy came every day to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who treated him with great affection. It is the nature of any boy to go see a man who loves him. Text 8. This was intolerable for Damodar Pandit. He became greatly unhappy, but there was nothing he could say, for the boy would ignore his restrictions. 9. One day when the boy came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord very affectionately inquired from him about all kinds of news. Text 10. After some time, when the boy stood up and left, the intolerant Damodar Pandit began to speak. 11. Damodar Pandit impudently said to the Lord, "Everyone says that you are a great teacher because of your instructions to others, but now we shall find out what kind of teacher you are." Wow. Purport. Damodar Pandit was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes, however, a person in such a position becomes impudent, being influenced by the external energy and material considerations. Thus, a devotee mistakenly dares to criticize the activities of the spiritual master or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Despite the logic that Caesar's wife must be above suspicion, a devotee should not be disturbed by the activities of his spiritual master and should not try to criticize him. A devotee should be fixed in the conclusion that the spiritual master cannot be subject to criticism and should never be considered equal to a common man. Even if there appears to be some discrepancy according to an imperfect devotee's estimation, the devotee should be fixed in the conviction that even if his spiritual master goes to a liquor shop, he is not a drunkard. Rather, he must have some purpose in going there. It is said in a Bengali poem, "Yadyapi Nityananda Surabadiyaya Tatapyo Haya Nityananda Rai." Even if I see that Lord Nityananda has entered a liquor shop, I shall not be diverted from my conclusion that Nityananda Roy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 12. You are known as Goshai, teacher or Acharya, but now talk about your attributes and reputation will spread throughout the city of Purushottam. How your position will be impaired. 13. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that Damodar Pandit was a pure and simple devotee, upon hearing this impudent talk, the Lord said, "My dear Damodar, what nonsense are you speaking?" Damodar Pandit replied, "You are the independent personality of Godhead, beyond all criticism." 14. My dear Lord, you can act as you please. No one can say anything to restrict you. Nevertheless, the entire world is impudent. People can say anything. How can you stop them? 15. Dear Lord, you are a learned teacher. Why then don't you consider that this boy is a son of a widowed Brahmani? Why are you so affectionate to him? 16. Although the boy's mother is completely austere and chaste, she has one natural fault. She is a very beautiful young girl. 17. And you, my dear Lord, are a handsome, attractive young man. Therefore certainly people will whisper about you. Why should you give them such an opportunity? Purport. As a simple and staunch devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Damodar Pandit could not tolerate criticism of the Lord. But unfortunately, he himself was criticizing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his own way. The Lord could understand that it was because of Damodar Pandit's simplicity that he impudently dared criticize him. Nevertheless, such behavior by a devotee is not very good. Text 18. Having said this, Damodar Pandit became silent. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled, pleased within himself, and considered the impudence of Damodar Pandit. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, this impudence is also a sign of pure love for me. I have no other intimate friend like Damodar Pandit. 20. Thinking in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to perform his noon duties. The next day, he called Damodar Pandit to a solitary place. The Lord said, my dear friend Damodar, you had better go to Nadia and stay with my mother. I see no one but you to protect her, for you are so careful that you can caution even me. 21. You are the most neutral among my associates. This is very good, for without being neutral, one cannot protect religious principles. You can do whatever I cannot. Indeed, you can chastise even me, what to speak of others. It is best for you to go to the shelter of my mother's lotus feet, for no one will be able to behave independently in front of you. 26. At intervals you may come see me here, and then soon again go there. 27. Offer my mother millions of my obeisances. Please speak to her about my happiness here, and thus give her happiness. Tell her that I sent you to inform her of my personal activities so that she may share in my happiness. 29. Speaking in this way, satisfy the mind of Mother Shachi. Also, remind her of one most confidential incident with this message from me. I come to your house, I come to your home again and again to eat all the sweetmeats and vegetables you offer. You know that I come and eat the offerings, but because of external separation, you consider this a dream. Purport. Because Mother Shachi was feeling separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she thought she was dreaming that her son had come to her. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, wanted to inform her that actually it was not a dream. He actually came there and ate whatever his mother offered him. Such are the dealings of advanced devotees with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 538, Premanjana chulita bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya gunasarupam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyamasundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. Pure devotees realize dealings with the Lord on the transcendental plane, but because the devotees are still in the material world, they think that these are dreams. The Lord, however, talks with the advanced devotee, and the advanced devotee also sees him. It is all factual. It is not a dream. Text 32. During the last Magha Sankranti festival, you cooked varieties of vegetables, condensed milk, cakes, and sweet rice for me. 33. You offered the food to Lord Krishna, and while you were in meditation, I suddenly appeared, and your eyes filled with tears. I went there in great haste and ate everything. When you saw me eating, you felt great happiness. In a moment after you had wiped your eyes, you saw that the plate you had offered me was empty. Then you thought, I dreamt as if Nimai were eating everything. In the condition of external separation, you were again under illusion, thinking that you had not offered the food to Lord Vishnu. Text 37. Then you went to see the cooking pots and found that every pot was filled with food. Therefore you again offered the food after cleansing the place for the offering. 38. Thus I again and again eat everything you offer me, for I am attracted by your pure love. Only by your order am I living in Nilachala, Jagannath Puri. Nevertheless, you still pull me near. You still pull me near you because of your great love for me. 40. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Damodar Pandit, remind Mother Shachi in this way again and again, and worship her lotus feet in my name. 41. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered that varieties of prasadam offered to Lord Jagannath be brought. The Lord then gave him the prasadam, separately packed, to offer to various Vaishnavas and his mother. Text 42. In this way Damodar Pandit went to Nadia, Navadvip. After meeting Mother Shachi, he stayed under the care of her lotus feet. Text 43. He delivered all the prasadam to such great Vaishnavas as Advaita Acharya. Thus he stayed there and behaved according to the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone knew that Damodar Pandit was strict in practical dealings. Therefore everyone was afraid of him and dared not do anything independent. 45. Damodar Pandit would verbally chastise every devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whom he found deviating even slightly from proper behavior. Thus he established the standard etiquette. 46. In this way I have described Damodar Pandit's verbal chastisements. As one hears about this, atheistic principles and ignorance depart. 47. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are deeper than millions of seas and oceans. Therefore, no one can understand what he does or why he does it. Text 48. I do not know the deep meaning of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. As far as possible, I shall try to explain them externally. Text 49. One day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Haridāsa Ṭhākura, as usual, and in the course of discussion, he inquired as follows. My dear Ṭhākura Haridāsa, in this age of Kali, most people are bereft of Vedic culture, and therefore they are called Yavanas. They are concerned only with killing cows and Brahminical culture. In this way they engage in sinful acts. Purport. From this statement by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can clearly understand that the word Yavana does not refer only to a particular class of men. Anyone who was against the behavior of the Vedic principles is called a Yavana. Such a Yavana may be in India or outside of India. As described here, the symptoms of Yavanas is that they are violent killers of cows and Brahminical culture. We offer our prayers to the Lord by saying Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. The Lord is the maintainer of Brahminical culture. His first concern is to see to the benefit of cows and Brahmanas. As soon as human civilization turns against Brahminical culture and allows unrestricted killing of cows, we should understand that men are no longer under the control of the Vedic culture, but are all Yavanas and Mlechas. It is said that the Krishna consciousness movement will be prominent within the next 10,000 years, but after that, people will all become Mlechas and Yavanas. Thus, at the end of the Yuga, Krishna will appear as the Kalki avatar and kill them without consideration. 51. How will these Yavanas be delivered? To my great unhappiness, I do not see any way. Purport. This verse reveals the significance of Lord Sri Chaitanya's appearance as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of all the fallen souls. Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur sings, Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar. O my Lord, you have appeared just to deliver all the fallen souls. Mo Sama Patita Prabhu Na Poi Bear. And among all the fallen souls, I am the lowest. How Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always thinking about the deliverance of the fallen souls is shown by the statement, E dukkha apara, it is my great unhappiness. This statement indicates that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, is always very unhappy to see the fallen souls in the material world. Therefore he himself comes as he is, or he comes as a devotee in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver love of Krishna directly to the fallen souls. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he not only gives knowledge of Krishna, but by his practical activities teaches everyone how to love Krishna. Krishna Prema Pradayate. Those who are following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should take the Lord's mission most seriously. In this age of Kali, people are gradually becoming less than animals. Nevertheless, although they are eating the flesh of cows and are envious of Brahminical culture, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considering how to deliver them from this horrible condition of life. Thus he asks all Indians to take up his mission. Bharata bhumite hoila manusya janmajar, janma sartaka kari karapada upakar. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. C.C. Antya-līlā 9:41. It is therefore the duty of every advanced and cultured Indian to take this cause very seriously. All Indians should help the Krishna consciousness movement in its progress to the best of their ability. Then they will be considered real followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unfortunately, even some so-called Vaishnavas enviously refuse to cooperate with this movement, but instead condemn it in so many ways. We are very sorry to say that these people try to find fault with us, being unnecessarily envious of our activities, although we are trying to the best of our ability to introduce the Krishna consciousness movement directly into the countries of the Yavanas and Mlechas. Such Yavanas and Mlechas are coming to us and becoming purified Vaishnavas who follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who identifies himself as a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should feel like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who said, Iha sabhara konmate haibe nistar. How will all these Yavanas be delivered? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always anxious to deliver the fallen souls because their fallen condition gave him great unhappiness. That is the platform on which one can propagate the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 52. Haridāsa Ṭhākura replied, My dear Lord, do not be in anxiety. Do not be unhappy to see the condition of the Yavanas in material existence. Purport. These words of Haridāsa Ṭhākura are just befitting a devotee who has dedicated his life and soul to the service of the Lord. When the Lord is unhappy because of the condition of the fallen souls, the devotee consoles him, saying, My dear Lord, do not be in anxiety. This is service. Shall I repeat that? When the Lord is unhappy because of the condition of the fallen souls, the devotee consoles him, saying, My dear Lord, do not be in anxiety. This is service. Everyone should adopt the cause of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to try to relieve him from the anxiety he feels. This is actually service to the Lord. One who tries to relieve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's anxiety for the fallen souls is certainly a most dear and confidential devotee of the Lord. To blaspheme such a devotee who is trying his best to spread the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the greatest offense. One who does so is simply waiting punishment for his envy. Text 53. And Haridāsa Ṭhākura is continuing. Because the Yavanas are accustomed to saying Ha Rama, O Lord Ramachandra, they will very easily be delivered by this Nama Bhasa. 54. A devotee in advanced ecstatic love exclaims, O my Lord Ramachandra, O my Lord Ramachandra. But the Yavanas also chant Ha Rama. Just see their good fortune. Purport. If a child touches fire, the fire will burn him. And if an elderly man touches fire, it will burn him also. Haridāsa Ṭhākura says that a great devotee of the Lord explains Ha Rama. But although Yavanas do not know the transcendental meaning of Ha Rama, they say those words in the course of their ordinary life. For the Yavanas, the word Ha Rama means abominable, whereas the devotee exclaims the words Ha Rama in ecstatic love. Nevertheless, because the words Ha Rama are the spiritual summum bonum, the fact is the same, whether they are uttered by Yavanas or by great devotees, just as fire is the same for both a child and for an elderly man. In other words, the holy name of the Lord, Ha Rama, always acts, even when the holy name is chanted without reference to the Supreme Lord. Yavanas utter the holy name in a different attitude than devotees, but the holy name, Ha Rama, is so powerful spiritually that it acts anywhere. whether one knows it or not. This is explained as follows. 55. Namacharya Śrīla Haridāsa Ṭhākura, the authority on the chanting of the holy name, said, the chanting of the Lord's holy name to indicate something other than the Lord is an instance of nama bhas. Even when the holy name is chanted in this way, its transcendental power is not destroyed. 56. Even a mlecha who is being killed by the tusk of a boar and who cries in distress again and again, Ha Rama, attains liberation. What then to speak of those who chant the holy name with veneration and faith? Purport. This refers to an instance in which a meat-eater, being killed by a boar, uttered the words Ha Rama, again and again at the time of his death. Since this is a quotation from Nishinga Purana, this indicates that in the Puranic age there must also have been mlechas and yavanas, meat-eaters, and that the words Ha Rama, meaning condemned, were also uttered in those days. Thus Haridāsa Ṭhākura gives evidence that even a meat-eater who condemns something by uttering the words Ha Rama gets the benefit of chanting the holy name that the devotee chants to mean, O my Lord Rama. 57. Ajamil was a great sinner during his life, but at the time of death he accidentally called for his youngest son, whose name was Narayana, and the attendants of Lord Vishnu came to relieve him from the bonds of Yamaraj, the superintendent of death. Text 58. The word Rama consists of the two syllables Ra and Ma. These are unseparated and are decorated with the loving word Ha, meaning O. 59. The letters of the holy name have so much spiritual potency that they act even when uttered improperly. Purport. Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura states that the word vyavahar, vyavahita, improperly uttered, is not used here to refer to the mundane vibration of the letters of the alphabet. Such negligent utterance for the sense gratification of materialistic persons is not a vibration of transcendental sound. Utterance of the holy name while one engages in sense gratification is an impediment on the path toward achieving ecstatic love for Krishna. On the other hand, if one who is eager for devotional service utters the holy name even partially or improperly, the holy name, which is identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exhibits its spiritual potency because of that person's offenseless utterance. Thus one is relieved from all unwanted practices, then one gradually awakens his dormant love for Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. If a devotee once utters the holy name of the Lord, or if it penetrates his mind or enters his ear, which is the channel of oral reception, that holy name will certainly deliver him from material bondage, whether vibrated properly or improperly, with correct or incorrect grammar, or properly joined or vibrated in separate parts. O Brahmana, the potency of the holy name is therefore certainly great. However, if one uses the vibration of the holy name for the benefit of the material body, for material wealth and followers, or under the influence of greed or atheism, in other words, if one utters the name with offenses, such chanting will not produce the desired result very soon. Therefore one should diligently avoid offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Purport. This verse from the Padma Purana is included in the Hari Bhakti Vilas 11-89 by Sanatana Goswami. Therein, Srila Sanatana Goswami gives the following explanation, and there's a long prose Sanskrit passage which I'm not going to read. This means that if one somehow or other hears, utters, or remembers the holy name, or if it catches his mind while coming near his ears, that holy name, even if vibrated in separate words, will act. An example of such separation is given as follows, in another long prose passage in Sanskrit. Suppose one is using the two words halam riktam. Now the syllable ha in the word halam and the syllable ri in riktam are separately pronounced, but nevertheless the holy name will act because one somehow or other utters the word Hari. Similarly, in the word Raja Mahishi, the syllables Ra and Ma appear in two separate words, but because they somehow or other appear together, the holy name Rama will act, provided there are no offenses. And another prose Sanskrit. The holy name has so much spiritual potency that it can deliver one from all sinful reactions and material entanglements. But utterance of the holy name will not be very soon fruitful if done to facilitate sinning. The holy name is so powerful that it must act, but when one utters the holy name with offenses, its action will be delayed, not immediate, although in favorable circumstances, the holy names of the Lord act very quickly. Namacharya Śrīla Haridāsa Ṭhākura continued, if one offenselessly utters the holy name, even imperfectly, one can be freed from all the results of sinful life. 62. O reservoir of all good qualities, just worship Sri Krishna, the purifier of all purifiers, the most exalted of the personalities worshipped by choice poetry. Worship him with a faithful, unflinching mind, without duplicity, and in a highly elevated manner. Thus worship the Lord, whose name is like the sun, for just as a slight appearance of the sun dissipates the darkness of night, so a slight appearance of the holy name of Krishna can drive away all the darkness of ignorance that arises in the heart due to greatly sinful activities performed in previous lives. Purport. This verse is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1, 103. Text 63. Even a faint light from the holy name of the Lord can eradicate all the reactions of sinful life. 64. While dying, Ajamil chanted the holy name of the Lord, intending to call his son Narayana. Nevertheless, he attained the spiritual world. What then to speak of those who chant the holy name with faith and reverence? Purport. This is a verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam 6.2, 49. Text 65. Because of even the faintest rays of the effulgence of the Lord's holy name, one can attain liberation. We can see this in all the revealed scriptures. The evidence appears in the story of Ajamil in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 66. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this from Haridāsa Ṭhākura, the happiness within his heart increased. But as a matter of course, he still inquired further. And we'll stop here tonight to give you something to look forward to tomorrow, to find out what further things Haridāsa Ṭhākura had to say. Hare Krishna. Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva nasteva. Gatyar anyatha. Okay, any reflections, comments, discussions?
First is something from Braj Ballabha.
Hare Krishna Braj Ballabha.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj. He has a question to know when you started reading aloud to devotees. It has had a positive effect.
When did I start doing it? When I first touched the Bhagavad Gita in 1972, I started reading out loud to my friends because I couldn't believe what I was reading. It was so beautiful. That's when I first started. More recently, I started kind of every day systematically reading in 2014. So I've been doing it more or less every day since then, except for a couple of spells where I had some ill health. But other than that, I've been doing it every single day since February 2014. I was in Wales with Priya Kund and Shamagori and Prema. Hare Krishna.
Gopakanya Devi Dasi comments, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, waiting for this moment. All glories to your service in Śrīla Prabhupada.
All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada.
And Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj. And then from Krishnangi Mulder.
Hare Krishna, Krishnangi.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to His Divine Grace Śrīla Prabhupada, and His grace to gift us the opportunity to hear about and associate with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Thank you, Maharaj, for reciting CC and creating this Sangha.
The pleasure is all mine, believe me.
And there's a comment from Yaduttama.
Hare Krishna Yaduttama.
He says, Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Prabhupada. I was just thinking how chastising devotees for deviations like Damodar Pandit did is such a difficult but important service. We are very lucky to have such faithful senior devotees that take on this service in ISKCON.
Absolutely.
And do it in a loving way that benefits aspiring devotees.
Absolutely. Thank you for that comment. It was wonderful.
And from Stefano.
Stefano, Hare Krishna.
He says, in Italiano, many verbs ends are in the infinitive tense. For example, parlare, to speak, mangiare, to eat, andare, to go, and so on. When we pronounce these words, one makes advancement?
Yes.
And from Bhakta Ben, He says it's very interesting how the holy name will
Wait a
act.
second, I want to go back to that. So he's talking about they end in re, like parlare, and what was the other one?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Mangiare.
Mangiare. Mangiare. And?
Andere.
Andare. Yeah, that means to go. So, I'm not sure what he's saying because andire. It has to have the syllables of the holy name together. So if it's just Ra, there's no benefit. But if there's Ra and Ma, even if they're separated in the same word together, then it has the same effect as the holy name. So andare, andare, re, andare, I don't think that has the holy name in it. Mangiare, I don't think so. The syllables of the holy name have to be there in the same place. Like an example would be Ramada Inn. There's a famous hotel chain called Ramada Inn. So Rama is there in that Ramada Inn. So that gives the effect of the holy name. So I don't think that those names in Italian have the syllables of the holy name together. Hare Krishna. But I know, from having lived in Italy for a year back in 1980, or some months, that Italy is a very pious place. That much I know for sure.
Oh, he's commenting more. He says andare means to go, so the word are is present. We pronounce are without the H.
No, it has to be hare. Not are, it has to be hare.
And then from Bhaktaben.
Mm.
He says it's very interesting how the holy name will act even if heard unknowingly.
Mm.
Made me think of the Harry Potter books and a popular cartoon called Futurama. Are karmis getting purified discussing these things?
I don't think so. I don't think so. They're just getting bewildered and attracted to some kind of mystic, magical, imaginary release from their temporary release from their sufferings. But it's not the same as the holy name or anything similar to spiritual activities. Harry Potter. Ray. Maybe Harry Potter. Maybe Ray Potter. Harry Potter. It's on the edge. I'm not sure about that.
Next is from Rati Manjari.
Hare Krishna Rati.
She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances.
By the way, I realized what a good actress Rati Manjari is because I got sent a little clip of a funny comedy skit, and she was very expert actress, very talented person.
She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances. I have found the part we heard tonight when Lord Chaitanya questioned Śrīla Haridāsa Ṭhākura how the Yavanas could be delivered, and how he could not see a way, and it was giving him unhappiness, rather touching. We really heard about the Lord and his mission, and how we can help to soothe his anxiety by preaching.
Yeah, I mean, the actual statement was that if a devotee says, Lord Chaitanya, please don't be in anxiety, that is service. That's one of my favorite sentences in all of Prabhupada's books. I've written it in my offerings to Prabhupada a couple of times over the last few years. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and to go out and preach in order to please Lord Chaitanya and deliver him from his anxiety, that is intimate service, confidential service, for sure. And one makes a lot of spiritual advancement by doing that. As soon as you get the attention of Lord Chaitanya, then your advancement accelerates. And there's no better way to get the attention of Lord Chaitanya than to distribute Krishna consciousness, preach Krishna consciousness. For sure. Everyone should give up everything else and just do that. All the devotees of the world should give up whatever else they're doing and do that. And the world would change in a quick order. Hare Krishna.
She says, we also heard how Srila Prabhupada wrote that the Krishna consciousness movement will go on for the next 10,000 years.
Yes.
I felt good hearing that confirmed.
Yes. Actually, the statement that Srila Prabhupada's books would be the law books for the next 10,000 years was spoken in a car to Rameswar on his way to the airport, or from the airport, to or from the airport. I don't remember which. Prabhupada confirmed that statement. I mean, Rameswar confirmed that statement. Hare Krishna. Well, I thank you very much. We're entering into the Antya-līlā deeper now, and it's my favorite parts of Prabhupada's books. It's just wonderful. The tastes of the relationships of Lord Chaitanya's intimate associates and Lord Chaitanya are beyond belief, beyond. They're very powerful and very sweet and very attractive, and they move the heart in very special ways. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Caitanya-caritāmrta ki jai. Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. So see you tomorrow night, and we'll find out what more Haridāsa Ṭhākura had to say to Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna.